Hi everyone, and welcome to The Vintage Company. My name is Julie and I'm a corporate historian. And every video, I take a look at a different vintage consumer product and the story behind it. And today's video is all about a product that revolutionized breakfast forever: Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. So before we can talk about Kellogg's Pop-Tarts, we have to talk about two other products that made Pop-Tarts possible. And both start with Kellogg's arch rival, General Foods Post. In the early 1960s, General Foods introduced a revolutionary new invention: shelf-stable but semi-moist dog food called Gang's Burgers. Gang's Burgers required no refrigeration even after opening the package. This got the folks at General Foods Post's cereal division thinking. If it worked for dog food, why couldn't it work for people food? Specifically, could the same technology be applied to keep a fruit-filled pastry from spoiling? The answer was yes, and in February 1964, Post unveiled a non-refrigerated breakfast pastry called Country Squares. With the help of a toaster, Country Squares promised to be a hot and convenient breakfast for life on the go. But there were a few problems. Despite having announced Country Squares to the world, Post was still tinkering with the product's formula and was not ready to put it on store shelves. And the name itself left something to be desired. At the time, square had become synonymous with uncool, and a kid was unlikely to be caught eating something labeled as uncool for breakfast. Not to be outdone, Kellogg's began developing their own fruit-filled pastry. In the test markets, adults were unimpressed. Complaints ranged from the product being too hard to being too large to fit into a toaster. But when plant manager Bill Post brought the pastry home to his kids, they loved it and asked for more. From that moment on, Kellogg's recognized that their version would be marketed for kids, not adults. In September 1964, just 7 months after Post revealed Country Squares, Kellogg's launched Pop-Tarts, a crisp, flaky pastry filled with real preserves. Original flavors were strawberry, blueberry, apple currant jelly, and brown sugar with cinnamon. Advertisements asserted, "You'll call them the most convenient, tasty, change-of-pace breakfast idea that's come along to brighten up your mornings in a long, long time. Baked and sealed in foil envelopes to stay fresh without refrigeration. A nourishing all-family treat for lunchboxes and after-school snacks, as well as for breakfast." It appears that Pop-Tarts were an instant success and were flying off the shelf. In December 1964, Kellogg's ads apologized for a shortage, stating, "Oops, we goofed. We had no idea our Pop-Tarts would become so popular so soon. Your response to this change-of-pace treat for breakfast, lunch, or snacks has been so great that we just plain didn't make enough." The popularity of Pop-Tarts gave rise to more innovations. In 1967, Kellogg's introduced frosted Pop-Tarts in flavors Concord grape, raspberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and Dutch apple. Frosted Pop-Tarts were made with a special icing that would not melt in the toaster. Shortly after, Kellogg's added sprinkles. As for Country Squares, Post tried to rebrand the product as Toast 'em Pop-Ups, but they were ultimately unable to compete against Kellogg's, who dominated the growing $45 million toaster pastry market. One of the things that stuck out to me when looking at early ads is that Pop-Tarts used to be cut diagonally. This made it easier to break them in half. But Kellogg stopped scoring Pop-Tarts shortly after they were introduced because customers complained about a lack of filling. If a customer did not break the Pop-Tart apart, they wouldn't notice the amount of filling. Also, there was apparently a practical reason for not putting in too much filling inside of Pop-Tarts, which is that they would explode during manufacturing. And what were these fillings? In the beginning, the flavors were strawberry, blueberry, apple currant, and brown sugar cinnamon. Apple currant was short-lived, replaced by appleberry, a name that was more recognizable to consumers. The success of Pop-Tarts prompted Kellogg's to add new varieties, including Concord grape, raspberry apple, raspberry, cherry, Dutch apple, chocolate fudge, and chocolate vanilla cream, all within Pop-Tarts' first 5 years. In the 2010s, the number of Pop-Tart flavors exploded, with Kellogg's releasing several limited edition varieties throughout each year. In total, I've counted more than 115 flavors of Pop-Tarts, and I very seriously doubt my list is comprehensive. Among the more perhaps unusual flavors were chocolate peppermint, wild watermelon, pink lemonade, Jolly Rancher, A&W root beer, and Crush orange. As of the writing of this video, there are more than 20 different types of Pop-Tarts, including the limited edition flavors. According to Kellogg's, many of the ideas for new flavors come directly from its customers, who share suggestions via social media. Since its introduction, Pop-Tarts has grown into one of Kellogg's top brands. In 2000, it generated over $500 million in sales. In 2019, that number had grown to $845 million. In a rare feat, Pop-Tarts has continued to resonate with both children and adults, who nostalgically remember eating them as kids. Pop-Tarts started as a way to make breakfast portable. Today, it's a cultural icon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look back at Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. If nothing else, it makes me want to go out and buy a box of s'mores Pop-Tarts just to see if they're as good as I remember. If you like this video and you want to learn more about the history of companies and their products, please consider giving it a like and subscribing below. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.